all that, and you have to say one way or the other. You're just waiting for your paladins to bring you over here so you don't need. I needed my master would walk over here, don't put me outside. Let's get a little deeper in here. Yeah, right. I'm gonna get my boots out. So we got a few pairs of the farm. I'll ask Mukunda to bring some over.
Are you the Swami today?
I'm never a Swami.
All right.
My Swami.
I like a dummy.
We're going to be swimming in the nectarian mellows created by the Swami.
Whoa. Broke off. It's dangerous.
Yeah, we think we're sitting together. A little bit of translating executive. What does that say
Did you get to it?
on?
Third. Yeah, but I mean, which book? I'm sorry.
Should be one later on top here. Third edition.
Grant srimadbhagavatam. All glories to the Son of devotees. All glories to the Son of all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3 until the status quo, Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service. We're on text 11. Tvāgataham sharanam sharanyam. Svabritya samsaratarokutaram. Jigyasayaham prakrite purushasya. Namami sadharma vidam vidishtam. Tam tvāgataham sharanam sharanyam. Svabritya samsaratarokutaram. Jigyasayaham prakrite purushasya. Namami sadharma vidam vidishtam. Tam tvāgataham sharanam sharanyam. Svabritya samsaratarokutaram. Jigyasayaham prakrite purushasya. Namami sadharma vidam vidishtam.
Tam tvāgataham saranam saranyam. Svabritya samsaratarokutaram. Jigyasayaham prakrite purushasya. Namami sadharma vidam vidishtam. Tam tvāgataham saranam saranyam. Svabritya samsaratarokutaram. Jigyasayaham prakrite purushasya. Namam sadharma vidam vidishtam.
Dave? Too complicated? Alright. Come. That person. Fa, unto you. Gata, have gone. Aham, I. Sharanam, sheltered. Sharanyam, worth taking shelter of. Sabritya, for your dependence. Samsara, of material existence. Toroha, of the tree. Karam, the axe. Jigyasaya, with the desire to know. Aham, I am. Prakrite, of matter. Woman. Purushasya, of spirit. Man. Namami, I offer my obeisances. Sat Dharma, of the eternal occupation. Dham, of the knowers. Vidishtam, the greatest. Translation. Devahuti continued, I have taken shelter of your lotus feet because you are the only person of whom to take shelter. You are the axe which can cut the tree of material existence. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you, who are the greatest of all transcendentalists, and I inquire from you as to the relationship between man and woman and between spirit and matter. Purport. Sankhya philosophy, as is well known, deals with Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha is the supreme personality of Godhead, or anyone who imitates the supreme personality of Godhead as an enjoyer, and Prakriti means nature. In this material world, material nature has been exploited by the Purushas, or the living entities. The intricacies in the material world of the relationship of the Prakriti and Purusha, or the enjoyed and the enjoyer, is called samsara, or material entanglement. Devahuti wanted to cut the tree of material entanglement, and she found the suitable weapon in Kapila Muni. The tree of material existence is explained in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as an Ashvata tree whose root is upwards and whose branches are downwards. It is recommended there that one has to cut the root of this material existential tree with the axe of detachment. What is the attachment? The attachment involves Prakriti and Purush. Living entities are trying to lord it over material nature. Since the conditioned soul takes material nature to be the object of his enjoyment, and he takes the position of enjoyer, he is therefore called Purusha. Devahuti questioned Kapila Muni, for she knew that only he could cut her attachment to this material world. Living entities, in the guises of men and women, are trying to enjoy the material energy. Therefore, in one sense, everyone is Purusha, because Purusha means enjoyer, and Prakriti means enjoyed. In this material world, both the so-called man and so-called women are imitating the real Purusha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the enjoyer in the transcendental sense, whereas all others are Prakriti. The living entities are considered Prakriti. In Bhagavad Gita, matter is analyzed as apara, or inferior nature, whereas beyond this inferior nature there is another superior nature, the living entities. Living entities are also Prakriti, or enjoyed, but under the spell of Maya, the living entities are falsely trying to take the position of enjoyers. That is the cause of samsara bandha, or conditional life. Devahuti wanted to get out of the conditional life and place herself in full surrender. The Lord is Sharanya, which means the only worthy personality to whom one can fully surrender. Because he's full of all opulences. If anyone actually wants relief, the best course is to surrender. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is also described here as Dharma Vidam Varishnam. This indicates that of all transcendental occupations, the best occupation is eternal loving service unto the Supreme Personality of God. And Dharma is sometimes translated as religion. That is not exactly the meaning. Dharma actually means that which one cannot give up, that which is inseparable from oneself. The warmth of fire is inseparable from fire. Therefore, warmth is called the Dharma, or nature of fire. Similarly, Dharma means eternal occupation. That eternal occupation is engagement in the transcendental love and service of the Lord. Occupation of the transcendental love and service of the Lord. The purpose of Kapila Deva's Sankhya philosophy is to propagate pure, uncontaminated devotional service. And therefore, he is addressed here as the most important personality amongst those who know the transcendental occupation of the living entity. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. I'll read the translation again. Devahuti continued, I have taken shelter of your lotus feet because you are the only person with whom to take shelter. You are the axe with which can cut the tree of material existence. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you. You are the greatest of all transcendentalists, and I inquire from you as to the relationship between man and woman, between spirit and matter. So there is a science, or there is a way to do everything. Actually, huh? Yeah, that'd be good. So there's a way to do everything. And Srila Prabhupada was once, devotees were in the kitchen and devotees were cutting something, some apple or something like that. And Prabhupada said, oh, of course there's different ways to cut apples, but there's obviously more easy, better, efficient way to cut an apple, for example. So the devotee said, oh, Prabhupada, is there is there a way, a right and wrong way to do everything? And the Prabhu said, yes, there's a right and wrong way to do everything. So, when I was thinking about the axe, Vilas compared to the axe, cut down the tree of material existence. So even cutting wood. Has anyone ever cut wood here before? You cut wood? Okay, good. Cut wood? No, okay, you didn't cut wood. I cut wood.
I saw logs
You saw logs.
in my bed.
They say about the bed, one reason why we roll up our bedding and put it away, because during the morning program, for example, because if the bedding's out and it's out, there's kind of like a, hey, maybe I should go, lay in the bed, maybe I should go to sleep. There's like it's a little bit of a tempting thing because it's there, it's out. But if it's all rolled up, you're like, all right, well, it's rolled up, so whatever. Anyways, we were just talking about song logs that are sleeping. That's why I mentioned that. But yeah, even cutting wood. I haven't cut wood for many years. It's been a long time. But you ever cut wood, Ryan?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a certain way, which I'm forgetting now because it's been so long, but you hit it at a certain point, like in the middle, something, right?
You try to use as less energy as you possibly can because through the momentum of the weight
Yeah.
of the axe.
Yeah. So yeah, whether it's cutting wood with an axe, or whether it's cutting an apple, or driving a car, whatever it is, there's certain ways. There's certain ways that we do these things that will have a more fruitful or successful result. Right? So similarly, in order to get to the point of being detached from material existence, there's a whole process to do that. It's a whole scientific process, right way and wrong way to do that. But if we follow the process, then we will come to the point of detachment naturally. And this is actually very important that we come to the level of detachment, because after all, it is only the attachment that keeps us very nicely anchored to this material world. Birth after birth, body after body, is material attachment. So some devotees, they become detached through brahmacharya life, and then grihastha life, and then vanaprastha and sannyas. And naturally there should be the attachment. If they're following properly, then attachment naturally arises. And some devotees just through brahmacharya, and then somehow or other they stay brahmacharyas, and then they become naturally detached like that. But after all, it is Kali Yuga. It's not Satya Yuga. Some guy was trying to say, "Oh, it's Satya Yuga,"
Who was saying that?
I forgot his name. Bajrang, he mentioned and some guy saying, "Oh, it's Satya Yuga. It's time to do the silent meditation."
If Yogananda's guru, I read one of his books, he said it's, according to his calculations, it's Dwapara Yuga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Krishna. It's Dwapara Yuga, Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga. It's but anyways, it doesn't say that in the scriptures. They're just speculating. It's cool if you want to speculate, but just come up with your own ideas. Don't try to, put the name Dwapara Yuga. This is all coming from the Vedas. So if you do that, it's anyone who knows anything about the Vedas can say, "Oh, that this guy's wrong, speculating." So yeah, it's Kali Yuga after all, and so to become detached in Kali Yuga, whether it's detached grihastha or detached brahmachari, and of course sannyasis, that's the whole point. They have to be detached. But it is no small accomplishment, and it is quite difficult. And even some places, it is said in the Bhagavatam and other books that it's not even recommended to take sannyas in the age of Kali. Why? Because people can't do it. They don't have the determination and strength, and because traditionally sannyasa was a whole different thing, going to the forest, this and that. But even nowadays, sannyas, the point is they're supposed to be detached, traveling, preaching, detached from all different types of mundane association, and leading the example. And that's be quite challenging. We see through history, devotees have a hard time maintaining that. But although it is Kali Yuga, and as Prabhupada said, brahmacharis shouldn't criticize grihastas, and grihastas shouldn't criticize brahmacharis. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. In essence, that's what he was saying, though, because no one could strictly follow nowadays. That's what he was practically saying. So it is Kali Yuga, but although it's Kali Yuga, we could still by great endeavor and great mercy, we could become detached from material existence. It is possible, gradually, to become detached, step by step. And even if we are lacking throughout our lives, and what to speak of at the time of death, of course, we have to be careful trying to, what I'm about to say, we have to be careful not to wholly and solely depend on this, because it could be like a lazy man's mentality, I'll just creep a city, right? I'll just become perfect by mercy. It could be like a lazy man's mentality, but or some misconceptions. Some religious people in this world have misconceptions, within the Christian world, modern Christian world. That's a very big misconception. Oh, just by mercy, I could do it. Hey man, I can't follow anything. I can't, but just by mercy. So we have to try to follow. And follow. But even though at the time of death we may not be fully, there, you could say, but Srila Prabhupada would mention many times that there are some concessions for Kali Yuga, and also he will give special mercy to the souls. He said that. And because he is a pure devotee, because he's a pure servant of Krishna, and Krishna listens to the pure devotees, then that's possible. We could also go back to Godhead. So one time Prabhupada said that in order to go back to Godhead, there can't be a pinch of material desire, not even a pinch of material desire. You have to be 100% free of material desires. And then devotees were feeling very depressed, in the audience. Prabhupada was looking out, and devotees were kind of because it's kind of, And then Prabhupada said, okay, fine. Said something like 90%. Devotees, they were still kind of looking a little discouraged. And then Prabhupada went down to 75, I think, 70%, 75%, something like that. And they've always said, Jai Prabhupada, you'd hear in class sometimes. They'll say, Jai Prabhupada. And then after the class, Prabhupada was walking with all the devotees, but still Prabhupada was sensing that, devotees were kind of discouraged still, and you could tell when people are, because 75%, even that, it's you have 25% material attachments, kind of still difficult, you could say. So then Prabhupada said, don't worry. He said, you just try your best, chant, follow the principle, like that. And he said, I have the key to the back door, of the spiritual world. Now, someone would say, that's just Prabhupada saying that, and right, he's just trying to make us feel good, or he's just trying to encourage us. But is that really so? Type of thing. In the Chaitanya, to give an example of Krishna fulfilling, Lord Chaitanya fulfilling the desires of his devotees, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vasudeva Dutt, which pure devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it said that he had the desire to take all the karma of all the living entities in the universe on his head and go to hell for a long time. Because we hear sometimes people go to hell for millions of years, right? As many hairs are there on a cow, right? For each hair they go, I don't know, it's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's many years in hell. So what to speak of if you have thousands of people, how long are you going to be there? It's a long time. So he was willing to do that. And then Lord Chaitanya said, Lord Chaitanya's heart, broke out of seeing the humility of his devotee, and then he started, tearing and like that. And then Lord Chaitanya, oh, you don't have to do that. He said, I'll just liberate the whole universe. So he emptied out the whole universe on the plea of his devotee. So if Prabhupada or our spiritual master, them together, right? They are pleading for us, and obviously if we really tried, if we tried our hardest, gave all we can, then yeah, we could have confidence in that. So yeah, this is the disease that people have in the world, that they want to exploit the resources of material nature. They want to exploit material nature. So people are born, for example, with heroin addiction, babies, or alcoholism. But even people, some people say, whatever the academic people or people, statistics, all this type, that if someone has family in the past who is alcoholics or like that, then that could flow into our blood. In other words, we have a strong tendency to do that. Or if somebody is depression or suicidal, right, in our family, we may have a tendency to do that. It's like somehow within us. So yeah, like being brought up in this world, it's like almost we're born. Yeah, we are born. We're born with this kind of these desires within us to enjoy, to exploit material nature. And interesting enough, as Srila Prabhupada said about people in India, he said, of course, India is, it's whatever, degrading, this and that, of course, but there's still so many temples, so much remnants of culture like that. But he said people in India, just being born in India, they have, I forgot what he said, something like this spiritual blood flowing. I don't know, he said something kind of far out. That, in other words, by hearing about Krishna, by associating with devotees, then they could easily, take to it somehow or other. Of course, not all of them, but so yeah, we have this disease, or we may have this disease where we want, material attachments and enjoying the material energy and all that. So we need a very powerful process to extricate ourselves out from this whole idea of enjoying this world. So we need a very powerful process. So I was thinking, we have this idea of chanting and taking prasadam. That's actually the process. Rupa Goswami is quoting the verse, Atashi Krishna Namadi Navavid Gamindriya. So by engaging the senses in the service of Krishna, which normally the blunt senses cannot perceive Krishna, the senses become purified, and then Krishna reveals himself. And then he mentions the tongue, by engaging the tongue and tasting prasadam, accepting prasadam, and chanting. So this is chanting and taking prasadam. So it is actually very important that devotees get nice prasadam. It's very important. Of course, we got to be careful too, but because like in the Bhagavatam, it says that how a wife, at least traditionally, maybe now some cases, but not as much as it was previously. How a wife captures the husband, right, is by cooking very nicely. She makes all these nice preps and like that. That's how the wife captures a husband. But nowadays, it's just, I've been hearing some kind of stories. Of course, these are materialistic people. Marriages, I've heard a few things, but I don't ask for this. People just tell me. But the wife, she's just like yelling at the, husband, like, go get my soda out of the room, and the guy's like, yes, dear, and then, the guy came out, he was wearing something not presentable according to her eyes, and then she said, go in the bedroom and put on some proper clothes, yelling at him. It's actually more intense than what I'm saying, And he goes, yes, dear, like that. But then he sneaks out and he's wearing his board shorts, whatever. But then she texts him later and says, you snuck out with those board shorts. She said, you're not going to get dinner, type of thing. Whoa, it's kind of scary, I was like, I don't know. That's not a recipe for a successful relationship. She needs to cool down, Anyways, in many cases I've heard that, the woman yelling at the guy and the guy just, yes, dear, like that. And I was talking with a devotee, and then they were saying it was sad, and the guy reminded them of like a wet cat, cat gets like wet and like, gets the stuff in his eyes, all, kind of scary. But like a dancing dog or a dancing dog in the hands of a woman, right? But anyways, so yeah, it's nowadays, even amongst devotee relationships, because of the whole influence of modern culture, materialism, the women may be very not like that, trying to cook things, please the husband, the kids, like that. It's sometimes not like that. But traditionally, that's how they would keep the husband. So similarly, brahmacharis, they also need nice prasadam. Like Hanuman, I guess Hanuman was at the Jagannath temple, and maybe you heard that story. He was guarding the temple, right? And then the pujaris were feeding him khichdi every day. Like every day, that's it, just khichdi, like nothing else. No puris, no sweets, no nothing. Just khichdi. And then Hanuman, I guess he flew off, he left. And then the pujaris, oh, hey, what happened? And where'd you go? And they found him, and why'd you leave? And Hanuman's actually a brahmachari. So then Hanuman said, oh, well, you feed him this khichdi every day, and I can't take it, Then they said, okay, fine, come back and we'll feed you, nicely. So yeah, it is important that brahmacharis and everybody gets nice prasadam, healthy, balanced like that prasadam, and in this way, this is actually a powerful way to extricate ourselves from the material energy. Interesting enough. There was a devotee in New York City temple, in the temple there years ago, when Prabhu was here, and it was really exploding. The temple was really doing well. Lots of devotees joining, things were really happening at the temple. And then they asked the temple leaders there, how is this happening? And he said, I'm doing two things. I'm doing two things, and I feel that Krishna is reciprocating by these two things. And he said, I'm taking very nice care of the deities, making nice arrangements for the clothes and keep things clean, and nice offerings and nice boga and nice jewelry and flowers, taking care of the deities. And also I'm making sure that the devotees get nice prasadam. He said halava with ghee and this and that. Anyways. So he said that was the recipe that was working at that time. So prasadam is a very powerful way in which it's Krishna's mercy, and we extricate ourselves from the material energy. Or Krishna does that. And also the chanting. So chanting is, we do it every day, right? We should do it every day. And it, because we associate with it every day, sometimes we may take it for granted, or sometimes we may become too, what is it called? Familiarity breeds contempt. We may become too familiar with it. Oh, just chanting. Okay, I got to chant my rounds, or just another Hare Krishna, or another kirtan, right? But chanting is an extremely powerful process, actually, to extricate ourselves from material energy. And I remember one time, years ago, I was chanting 16 rounds before I joined the temple. And somehow or other, I had to spend some time with my cousin and his wife and kid. And then, I don't know what happened. I mean, we were doing this and doing that and so many things. And then, they want a lot of my attention. And I spent time with them and stayed up late and woke up late, all this type of stuff, right? But then that whole day, I didn't chant my 16 rounds. And also into the following day. And, until I left there around noontime, then I chanted. But that was, I felt just absolutely horrible. Like literally horrible. I felt like, I don't want to be too dramatic, like I was about to die or something, or maybe someone else died, but it was just, I felt dead, you could say that. I felt dead. Just, yeah, morose and disturbed and clouded mind. And so yeah, we may not be able to perceive how we're, going up, right? But yeah, that is a fact that we're actually going up by this chanting process. We're becoming high by this chanting process. Because if we don't do it, we'll see, what happens in our conscious kind of thing. So we are making progress. And then Prabhupada gives that example in the plane, right? You're going up in a plane, and whatever, you're sitting there, you listen to your headphones, or you're taking a little nap, or whatever you're doing, right? Reading a book, Krishna book or something. So you're going up, and you're not really realizing how far you are from the ground, right? Go. But then, you realize, okay, you look down, right? If you're flying over SanDiego, you're flying to Houston or something, you look down and you see there's the ocean, and then there's the, all the buildings and all that. So in other words, you realize, okay, I made some progress. So it's like that. We don't necessarily see all the time. But then we may look back, oh, I used to do this and I used to do that, and I had this interest and I had that interest, right? And now that's like in the past. That's our past. We don't have those interests anymore. So yeah, the chanting and the taking of prasadam is extremely important, and it is a very powerful way to become detached from this world. So we should try to chant as much as possible, japa and kirtan, and not limit ourselves, because we may get into the tendency of limiting ourselves. Because japa, Rupa Goswami, right? If I had so many ears, so many mouths, then I could properly relish the nectar of the holy name. So, in other words, he's saying the ecstasy is just endless, right? So if we limit ourselves, and if we limit ourselves by stubbornly or being attached to this stage of offensive chanting, we're just attached to it. We don't want to move beyond it. Okay, I chant my rounds, but I just want to be here. Offenses, and that's how we don't make progress. Of course, some progress, but not ultimate progress, and that's limiting ourselves, right? But if we get to the stage where we're trying to give the offenses, okay, we have the 10 offenses, right? So we're actively meditating daily. What can I do to give up these offenses? Every time we're chanting, we're trying to give up the offenses. Then this is not living in ourselves. Why? Because by doing that, we'll eventually hit the stage of offenseless chanting. And then, we could have at least a glimmer or a sense of what Rupa Goswami is saying, if I had so many ears, so many mouths like that. So when it comes down to it, whether a man or a woman or someone who wants to enjoy a man or a woman or somebody who's... Anyways, I don't want to get too politically incorrect here, but... if someone who's a man or a woman or whatever, they're trying to enjoy this, that, the way they become detached, it's the same process: chanting, hearing, taking a prasadam, and eventually they become detached. And ultimately, it comes down to the bottom line of developing a higher taste for Krishna. That's the bottom line, actually, to develop that higher taste. And that is cultivated by, as it's saying here, dharma, right? Following our dharma, whatever that dharma may be. Following our dharma with the aim of pleasing Krishna, and trying to get in touch with our eternal nature, right? We always have to be trying to get in touch with our eternal nature. Our eternal nature is not American or whatever, or man or woman or black or white or this or that or old or young. That's not our eternal nature. That's temporary. So our eternal nature, we have to try to get into that. We have to try to connect with that. And then we will be in our transcendental occupation, or we'll be in our transcendental situation. So does anyone have any questions or comments about anything? When I say politically incorrect, it was last night. Because nowadays you got to be careful. Ladies or men. You say ladies, you say men. So I was saying anyone who's a man or anyone who's a woman or anyone who's confused if they're a man or a woman, process is the same to get purified. But I was thinking in the lounge because Kishore, he was chanting and he was saying, "Ladies," and all the ladies, and then the men, "Hare Krishna," right? And he said, "Gentlemen," and all men, right? "Hare Krishna." So then I was thinking in my mind, whatever, passed through my mind. I said, "Hey, well, what if what if someone's confused? What they do? They're confused whether they're a man or a woman, So, because nowadays, you go to you travel in gas stations and this and that and stores. Before it was a men's bathroom and a woman's bathroom, right? And then there's a picture of a man in a little stick figure pit, whatever, like we have here. So, but nowadays it's just, there may be two bathrooms, but it's, picture of a man and picture of a woman, right? But nowadays they're coming to the point where I was traveling from LA, I was coming down, going to a gas station, and I went to the bathroom, and then there was a triangle there, because there's a triangle, then there's the little figures there. So there was a triangle, and it was just a white triangle. There was no man, there was no man alone, there was no woman alone. There was no man and woman together. There was just a triangle. So it's like, okay, So, and then, I heard in big universities, this and that. I was surprised, actually. But these are universities. And people probably, shoot me down for saying stuff like this. But, it's saying, they're coming up with some words. It's like a combination of he and she or him and she to refer to people. Because if you refer to people he, it's kind of like, they find that offensive somehow, or she, So you have to say she, him, or it's like a combination. These are, big professors, and there's some universities actually standing up against it. They're saying, no, we're not doing that. But some of them are going with it. So this is very interesting, because years ago nothing happened like was that happening. Anyways.
Yeah, Sprouts, they did that at Sprouts. They took the figures off the two bathrooms.
Oh, they did.
And I actually been talking about this on Facebook recently because I like to put extremely aggressive,
thought provoking,
attacking the mainstream paradigm.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed recently that devotees seem to be just coming up with this sentimental politically correct contamination. If you have anger, that cannot possibly be an expression of love. Love is just soft talking and talking about love all day long, this and that. And I'm attacking that on Facebook. I'm like, okay, so that means Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had no love in their hearts. They're just full of hatred because they use harsh words and criticisms all the time.
Yeah.
But even amongst devotees in the West, a huge percentage of devotees, probably most devotees, they have this politically correct contamination and don't even know it.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of that have to do with the West, because the East, somehow or other, there's still, the men and the women aren't, maybe slowly, but not so much. You don't really, see that. But yeah, definitely in America, they grew up with all this and they're American, whatever. But yeah, that's interesting. What else was I going to say about that? Men.